The Russian join is one of my favorite ways to join yarn invisibly. So let's get into it. I'm going to use this yellow and red yarn to show you how to do it. Normally you would use the same yarn when you're doing a join, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm using contrasting colors. And what we're going to do is just lay one strand of yarn over the other, and then I'm going to bring the ends over to the other side so that now the yarns are interlocking, right? So I just want to briefly go over how the Russian join is done. So what we're going to do is use a tapestry needle. The sharper your tapestry needle is, the better. This one is incredibly sharp. Ow! Okay, sharp. So we're going to thread up the yarn, and then we're going to use this shorter end to burrow into the yarn, okay? Just burrowing in like some kind of badger. Don't know if badgers burrow. These two strands will be integrated beautifully, and then we'll do the same to the other side. Thread up this shorter end and burrow it into this side of the yarn, just like a rat or a mole, some kind of gremlin. Burrow it in, and then it'll just be one beautiful strand of yarn, and then both ends will be joined, okay? It'll look amazing. So now that you know the mechanics of this, let's get into how to actually work this join. All right, so I've threaded up my red yarn here, and now we're going to start burrowing. Okay, so imagine that your tapestry needle is like a gopher, woodchuck, mole hybrid. It's just a master burrower, and it's going to burrow into this strand of yarn. So we're going to just start right here where the red yarn meets this yellow yarn, and I'm just going to push my super sharp tapestry needle into the yarn. You really want to catch the entire strand of yarn, okay? So here I'm just kind of pushing it in, checking the other side. Okay, it didn't catch too well. Some people find that if they untwist the yarn a little bit, you're able to burrow in a little bit deeper, and I don't really find it to be any better or worse. The point is that you want to get into the yarn, okay? And here we go. So as you do it, you'll notice some bunching on your needle, and that is exactly what you want. That is perfect and excellent. One of the few times in life where bunching is actually a good thing. So I've got a good bit of bunching here. So now what I'm going to do is just grab the sharp part of my tapestry needle, and I'm just going to hold the part where it joins with the yellow yarn and just pull it through. Oh, okay, there we go. Slightly violent. All right, and now I'm going to grab the longer strand of yarn, the one that's attached to my ball, and then just pull it down, thereby kind of stretching out that bunching. Pull, 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 pull. There we go. Okay, so now the shorter end has been integrated quite nicely with our strand of yarn. I can see the end poking out just a little bit right here, and I can snip it right off. And now that strand of yarn has been integrated very nicely. You can barely even see where it is. And here it looks very nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to thread it up and then burrow into the yellow yarn. I'm going to start right here, right where the join is, and then just very carefully start pushing into, burrowing into, tunneling into the strand of yarn. Okay? So if you feel like you're not catching the strand of yarn, you can always kind of push back and like redo it. Just because it's in the yarn doesn't mean you have to keep going. You can always pull your needle out and start again. So I feel like there's a good amount of bunching here on the yellow yarn. Now I'm just going to pull it through. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to hold on to the longer strand of the yellow yarn and then just pull it. Okay, pull it, pull it, pull it, and let the shorter strand kind of move down. And now you can see that it has joined beautifully. Look at this join right here with the yellow and the red. It looks practically seamless. When we go down, we can see there's the tail end of our yarn right here, and I can just snip it right off. Now you can't really see the join at all. Once your join is complete, continue knitting. That's the Russian join. All right, so here's a little troubleshooting tip. Let's say that you are pulling your yarn through. Now, if you didn't start burrowing into your yarn really close to that join, like right here, you'll find that when you pull down on your long piece of yarn, you might have a bit of a gap here. So it doesn't form a beautiful, tight join. There's like a giant hole down here, okay? So when that happens, you don't have to freak out. we can actually move this twist from the smaller piece of yarn up to the top. So this is all you do. You grab the smaller yarn tail, the shorter yarn tail, and you just start kind of bunching it up all over again. Bunch, 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 bunch it up till you cannot bunch it anymore, okay? You cannot pull this anymore. And then hold on to the other side of your join, grab onto the long part of the yarn, and then just pull. Pull down, bam, 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 bam. And ta-da! Look what magically happens. Now our join is super tight, very invisible, because we've basically moved the bunching all the way back up here, okay? So that's a really easy way to troubleshoot your Russian join.
Missing someone.